are. We're back for episode 8. Today we're going to be talking. I'm Todd Wade.
I'm Todd Wade. I'm Joe Mathis. What was that about?
I hit my mic.
Okay, that's good. Glad you didn't make a noise. Joe and Todd Show, and we're glad you're here. We have this mission. This is our passion, is helping creative people do better in business.
Do better, be better.
Creative people who get paid for what they do, to get paid more, to do better, and
make the world a better place.
And really what we do is we get on here and we talk about all our failures and how we want you to learn from that. So there you go.
We've had plenty of them.
We have had, yes. And so
so today we want to talk about hiring people that make us look good. Us as creatives.
Right. Hiring people to make us look good.
Because sometimes creatives are messy. Creatives can be sloppy. Creatives don't always think of everything. Sometimes creatives forget.
I resemble
Not that I would know.
Yeah, I think one of the hardest things about creative is that a lot of times we do not see things as important as other people see them.
Yes.
And
we just don't
understand. I still don't understand why people get hung up
figure
about
it out.
Timelines and payments and
budgets.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, what's the big deal?
So we need people around us that can help us do better.
Yeah, I think that's an important part of any business, especially creative business, more than anything else, is that I actually heard someone say creatives and business are two different things. They shouldn't go together. And of course, I hate that. That's not at all what I think. I love creatives and business together. But there is some things that, creatives tend to think outside the box. A lot of things about business, from accounting to legal aspects to all that, time structure, meetings, is almost anti-creative. And it can be a challenge. It can be a challenge for us to.
But if you can pair those together, if you can put them together, if you got the ideas of a creative and you've got the structure to make it happen, I mean, you've got dynamite.
Absolutely.
You can just make amazing things happen.
I know some people watching are probably going, "Hey, I'm still in my bedroom. I'm still at home. I'm not going to be hiring people to come in here." And I think the picture we want to help you with is really building that team is beyond just an employee. It can be it can be a vendor, it can be a supplier, it can be a consultant, it can be a part-time person, it can be your mother. So it can be somebody that you bring in part-time 1 day a week or whatever, just to kind of help you do better and make you look good. Right. And I think that's what it's all about. So one of the things I like to think about is when my clients look at me, what do they see? When our clients look at, they see Todd and I, and it's kind of weird because you are just as creative as I am. I get labeled the creative, and you get labeled the organized one, which kind of drives me nuts sometimes.
You would know it by my repeat of my black sweater again.
Right, yeah. So we go to meetings, and I like to think, how do they look at us? Do they look at us as somebody who has the capacity to handle their work? And I really know that if I go by myself, they're probably questioning if I have the capacity to really do what I say, whether that's meeting deadlines or whether that's being under budget or whatever. I was at a meeting yesterday and I spent $600 of people's money just because, oh yeah, you need that. That's a good idea. And I think, to have the balance a lot of times of you saying, you just look more like you've got it's because you're quiet. You just look like you've got your act together. And I think that helps. But I think sometimes how do our clients look at us and how do they see us? And I know we've had some challenges where I think our clients weren't getting their invoices consistently. And you were staying up, till 3:00 in the morning trying to make all that happen. And we said, no, we need someone who's doing our invoices for us. We need to make sure our clients are getting correct invoices, say the right things, consistent times, all that sort of things happening. I think scheduling, I've compared myself before. Someone told me one time I'm like a country doctor. I'm so concerned about the people in the exam room that I don't care about the people in the waiting room. And when they told me that, I was like, it kind of hurt a little bit, but it was really helpful because that's true. I can spend 3 hours with somebody and feel like it's an hour while there's someone waiting outside. And so I think to have people around us, we'll have maybe a time where Olivia or someone on our team comes in and texts us and says, hey, they're waiting here. You need to move on to this next thing. You got to go. And that's hard. So we had a call yesterday doing all this Zoom stuff. We had a Zoom call where, it came in that someone's waiting for us on the Zoom call and we need to wrap up the other call. And so I think that's, again, helpful because someone's helping us look good.
Yeah. So I think one of the things we want to do as creatives as we try to hire or look for people to surround ourselves with, we want someone who can complement us. There's probably a time at which we need someone to supplement
compliment
us.
Like, oh, you look nice today.
That too.
Yeah, I need that sometimes.
Nice shirt.
Yeah, whatever.
No, but the compliment of something's missing in you, and you need that person to come alongside you and kind of help you in that area, like finances or organization or sorting things out that need to be thrown away. Or
you're getting real personal here.
Sorry.
I think that
too soon.
Hashtag too soon. I think that is one of the challenges sometimes. For me, that's been my challenge for sure. Is I want to think I can do all the important stuff, and I can think that way. And I think, again, learning your deficit, that's hard. That's really hard to learn what you don't do well and what's important to somebody else that's not important to you. How do you really get there? How do you do that? Like, I don't know that. I mean, that may be a rhetorical question, but how do you get to the space where you understand your deficits? You understand
self-examination, I guess. Yeah.
I think sometimes you have to ask people.
Yeah.
Asking your friends and family and clients if you can. We did that the client survey. That was super helpful. It was overly positive, which was a little bit of a surprise. But I think there was a couple of people on there who mentioned the timeline issue, and that was kind of eye-opening to me because I was kind of like, what's the problem? We get it done, don't we? And but to realize someone else is saying they're going to the trouble to tell somebody on a survey about us,
stressing them out.
That's a stress. It's like, okay, I need to do that. And so of course we heard that loud and clear and are obviously working on
made
time.
A concentrated effort. We put someone else besides us
yes,
in charge of keeping the timelines up.
Yeah, and using
putting that on there.
And we're spending money on software to help us too.
Yes.
And I think that's a project management sort of thing. Yeah, great point.
That's good. I think another thing we're doing is we're looking for people with diverse perspectives. We're not the only ones that know how to do events in this world. And so we're hiring people who have hotel experience or who have maybe more small event experience or conferences experience. And so we're supplementing our expertise, which tends to kind of be that big event, gala type event. Of course, you have all kinds of experiences with events, but just finding people who can bring another perspective, whether it's a vendor perspective or maybe an organization perspective or whatever.
I think one of the hard things sometimes as a creative is we work so much with, is it subjective work, that an opinion is different, opinions change. And again, I think it's helpful to have people on your team who can give you some honest feedback and opinions on your work, which is hard. I mean, it's hard to hear, but I'd much rather hear from a team member who doesn't have taste.
Team member.
Who maybe has a different perspective, or is this hurtful, or is this going to come across as arrogant or whatever. And I know there's been times I've really we did the brochure. I loved the design of it, but when we held it up to somebody on our team, they were critical, like, oh, it looks like a nursing home or something. I was like, what are you talking about? This is how it is these days. You know, I could feel myself getting defensive, but I also realized what they're saying is going to make us look good in front of our client, because we have a perspective now that's not just all about our design and our work, which is hard. That's really difficult. I think the other thing is really thinking through, sometimes you need people who can replace you. And I think that's another...
Yeah, I hinted at that earlier. But
another hard thing.
So talk about that a little bit. Because someone reminded us recently, you can only do so much.
I don't believe that.
I know you don't, Joe. But it's true.
We've recently gone through a lot of hiring, as a lot of people, if you follow us on social media, you know we've actually hired 4 or 5 people in the last month or so. It's been a growing team. No one's left, which has been great. But
our friends at LifeWork, that's who said it.
Yeah, that's exactly who said it. And
you can only do so much. It hit home for me pretty hard.
HR consultant was a good move for us, because they brought in some perspective, and they could really help us in the hiring. They could help us see people that complement us. And I know we had one team member that we both said, we don't know them. No, they're not one of our friends. They're not one of our friends' friends. They're not working.
No one referred them to us.
Yeah, they're not working in an organization we know
How'd they
anything
even
about.
find us? I don't even know.
We paid a lot of money for them to find us, but yeah. But I think that was kind of a question for us, and it was really cool to have an outside perspective say their favorite thing about this person was they didn't know us.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, that's really good stuff.
Yeah, so they're bringing fresh perspective to the company, which is
exactly
valuable.
I think the other thing I started to say with that replacing us, we recently we're hiring somebody to do a lot of the things I'm gifted at. That's hard.
Yeah.
And that really...
This has probably been the hardest person to hire.
Wow.
Out of all of them.
Wow.
Because everyone else is doing stuff that
I don't want to do.
You don't really want to do, or maybe you're not good at, or just don't have that ability. And so, but this person is really coming in to kind of take some things that you really love doing off of your plate. And so it's been hard for you.
I'm nervous about it, but I think when I can step back and see the big picture, I know it's going to be helpful. And I know that to be able to duplicate my work, let me spend more time with clients, let me spend more time in the trenches, and let them do the things that I can do that keep me awake at night because I didn't get them done. And so I think of yesterday, we had a venue tour, we had 2 meetings with clients, we had all this stuff kind of happening. And I joked, but I was serious. I got to whatever that was, 6:00. I'm like, okay, now I'm doing my work for the day. Mm-hmm. And I did have some pressure. I've got to write some stuff. I've got to get some stuff done that only I can do. And to realize, hey, in just a week or so, we're going to have somebody here who can make that happen. And I can be out doing those other things. So
I think one thing to remember was that particular person, we didn't just put out a Facebook ad or a LinkedIn ad, or however we advertise our other positions. We spent a lot of time getting to know her. We worked with her as a client.
Multiple years.
Multiple years. We had her do some projects for us as a contractor, writing projects, and she's great stuff. And so feel very comfortable with her quality of work and feel like she can represent us well by what she's doing. So I think that's what we're saying, is that we're not just hiring anybody to replace us.
It's someone who's going to make us look good.
Yes.
I think the other thing that I started to say a while ago that I love about a lot of the people we've hired is helping them know how to make us look good. And that means making sure they know what's important to us, what our values are.
Making sure they're on board with the direction the company's going.
Exactly, yeah. One of the silly things that has always been important to us, and I don't even know where this came from. Well, I kind of do, but we don't throw trash away of ours on site.
Yes.
It's just a little thing we don't do.
Where did that come from?
That's a whole podcast in itself because I know exactly where it came from. But we take all our trash with us. If it's our trash, we're generating that trash, whether it's the backings of something or whatever it is, we take all that with us. We don't leave it on site. The exception of that, of course, is in a rare city where we have venue, we do that with.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's something where we just have somewhere dropping off at a client, we walk away with that trash.
Mm-hmm.
And, making sure our team members know that's part of what makes us look good is we don't leave things behind. And so we've actually had times where we've said, one team member's job is just to follow around every place we've been and make sure there's nothing of ours there. Check that list off, make sure there's an inventory list, make sure we picked up everything that's ours. Because
all the tools,
all
the trash.
My background, I still have a cartel at my house that was left at a convention center 25 years ago because I know that feeling of working at the venue, and people leave stuff, and you develop this attitude about them of their competency of life based on what they've left behind. And I think that's one of those things that just happens is people leave stuff. So it's like, for our company, we're not going to leave things. We're going to make sure, besides it's financially responsible and all those things, but that's important to us. It makes us look good when we have everything covered. Yep. So you start to say something else about.
So finding people that do that well and have that same value of yours to put on your team is important.
I laughed as we were working at the content for this podcast. We were laughing about sometimes hiring the people who don't do what the worst thing is you can imagine happening. So one of my examples was there's been once or twice that we've been a little last minute with something or we forgot something. I think there was one time.
Okay, maybe once.
One time that we're sending somebody off to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever to buy something that we forgot. And
good example.
And I said the worst team member to me would be someone who comes back to the client of like, oh yeah, I just got back from Hobby Lobby. I spent 17 minutes in line and it was awful because I didn't know anything about this. I guess they didn't tell us that we needed to do this black cloth and now we had to go buy it. Like, stop. And I think that's been something I've thought about with people we've hired. Because I want to make sure we're hiring people who don't talk too much, who don't make us look bad, I think is probably the deal.
Again, preserve the mystery. We just talked about that last episode, I think.
And another episode we talked about a vendor who did make us look bad and how they're not a vendor anymore because they were quick to throw us under the bus. They're quick to point out our flaws, whatever that was to our client. That wasn't helpful. We don't want them as part of our team. So I think, again, making sure we have that team put together, that we all look good together. We're helping our clients feel comfortable and confident. I think one of the struggles I had with everyone's title,
moving in the same direction.
There you go. One of the struggles I had with this title of hiring people to make yourself how to hire people that make you look good. I don't want that to feel like self-serving or fake or like we're trying to create something we're not, smoke and mirror sort of thing. I think part of that to me is how to hire somebody who's making our clients feel good about what we're doing.
That's just being professional.
Exactly.
That's just professionalism, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think for what we really want you guys as our listeners to walk away with is when you are hiring somebody, you're putting someone on your team, whether that be a consultant, a vendor, a supplier, or you're hiring a full-time staff or a part-time staff member, we really encourage you to think about how they're going to make you look good. Are they duplicating your work? Are they helping you with a deficit? Are they helping you with something you have struggles with? Or are they, how are they complimenting you? And also, how are they honoring you to your client? I had a friend one time who had people work for him. I'll go. My dad had people who worked for him. That he was in the furniture business, and he had these guys deliver who were always talking bad about him. He figured that out. He was able to nip it in the bud and stop it because he realized that was hurting his reputation.
Well, sure.
On stuff that wasn't really even true. It's an interesting perspective of things that wasn't true, but they were telling the clients about scheduling or deliveries and stuff like that. And I've had other friends who've done that too. But I that was a lifelong lesson for me. I want people who honor me and our client. We've also talked a whole nother episode about
and the company.
Who is the company?
Yeah.
You know, it's really the team of people that we surround ourselves with and how we look. But I think about that a lot. I want to make sure we have people on our team who are honoring us, honoring what we're doing. They're not going to the client and complaining about us. They're not, they're not sitting down to vendors and saying, yeah, they never get anything on time, or whatever the case is.
Well, that's just not how you address issues anyway. Exactly. They should be coming to us to talk about those issues, not the client.
Exactly.
So, and hopefully we're responsive in addressing those issues.
Hopefully. Hey, this has been fun. We really enjoy talking with creatives on how to make your business better. That's one of our passions, is just to help you do better. We're in the event planning world. We're in guest experiences. That's the creative things we do. We have designers on staff, graphic designers. We have a team of people who work hard to be creative, and that's how we make our money, is by being creative. And through the years, we've just learned there's some stuff about creatives that's just different when you're running a business. And one of those things is complementing the areas that you're not as good at. I think that's harder for creatives than anything else. So hopefully today's been helpful. We would love it if you would reach out to us, send us an email or a phone call. Let us know you're listening. Let us know that something we've said has been helpful. Give us an idea of something you want to hear about, listen to, and you can always email us. Compliment us with an I. Compliment us. And let us know. I'm Joe at rumbledrum.com.
And I'm Todd at rumbledrum.com. It's
love
really easy.
Love to reach out through email. And if we need to connect on the phone, we'd love to do that. But we want to develop a relationship where we're helping you, encouraging you to be better at what you do. Also, we'd love it if you'd follow us on social media and rate us on wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate us and comment. That's super helpful to us. That's what they keep telling me.
That's right.
Tell people to do that. So please do that. Because if you do it, they will stop telling me that I have to tell you that. So there you go.
No, we'll just tell you more.
Anyway, this has been great. It's been fun. We appreciate you.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.
Have a great week.
Bye-bye.